What's going on, everybody? So today I'm doing this video specifically for the skateboarders that like to travel overseas, like to travel abroad to different countries. These are the things that you need to know when traveling abroad with your skateboard. So as you may or may not know, traveling with a skateboard can be a real hassle because it's not technically, it's classified as a carry-on, but it's literally just a board with wheels. And sometimes you can take a carry-on, a personal item, and your skateboard. It varies drastically depending on what country you're traveling to, what airline you're traveling with, and what airport you're flying out of. So those are the three main things that will determine if you have to pay to bring your skateboard on the plane with you, or if you'll be able to get it on free as a carry-on. So in a perfect world, you'll be, for instance, getting on a plane, you'll be able to take your personal item, your book bag, your carry-on luggage, and your skateboard all for free. But that's not how that works these days, depending on the factors I just mentioned. So today I'm going to be explaining and giving you some vital tips on how to be able to get your skateboard on the plane for free, or at least know what's coming for you, depending on where you're traveling from in terms of the rules when taking a skateboard on the plane with you. So I mentioned three key factors that influences if you'll have to pay to check your skateboard, if you'll have to pay to bring your skateboard on the plane, or if you'll be able to bring it for free. And I'll start with the main one, which is the country you're traveling to and or out of. So for instance, I have never had any issues bringing a skateboard on the plane in Europe. I've been to France, I've been to the UK, I've been to Germany, and I've never had any issues bringing my skateboard on the plane in those countries. So in my opinion, generally, if you're not getting a hassle in the countries in the continent that you're traveling to, most likely the other countries within that continent or region of the world won't give you a hassle either. So, France, UK, Netherlands, and Spain didn't give me any hassle. So I would say if you're traveling to Europe in general, you won't have any issues. Serbia didn't give me a hassle either. That's Eastern Europe. So I would say in the Eastern Europe region, you should be fine with taking a skateboard on the plane as a carry-on. So if you're from the United States, or you're traveling to the United States or within the United States, you'll be happy to know that you won't have any issues traveling with the skateboard in the United States. Based off of my personal experiences, I would say that you wouldn't have any issues. I've been to a couple different states. I've been to California, North Carolina, South Carolina, a few different states, not too many, and not all of them in the United States, and I've never ever had an issue bringing a skateboard on a plane as a carry-on. So the check-in counters never gave me an issue. TSA never gave me an issue. Yeah, so if you're traveling within the United States, you'll be good with your skateboard. So whatever state you're traveling to, say you're traveling from New York to California, you'll be good, or South Carolina to Colorado, I would say you should be good. The airlines are generally pretty lax with the skateboards. You should be able to bring your carry-on luggage, your personal item, and your skateboard. So in my opinion, I don't work for the airlines. I don't have all the answers in terms of what airline and what state, what TSA is going to be more lenient than others. But like I said earlier, if one region of the world that you're in, you tend to not have any problems bringing your board, I believe that if you're traveling within that same region, you shouldn't have any problems. So the US, you should be good. But this is where the airline factor of the three factors I mentioned, country, airline, and airport, this is where the airline factor comes into play. So depending on what airline you're flying with, they may give you a hassle. So for example, Spirit Airlines is the budget carrier in the United States. People are always making jokes, talking trash about them. So I flew with them a couple times years ago. I never had any issues with them. But that was in the past, so I don't know what's going on with them now. But Spirit Airlines tend to charge you for everything. You carry on and, just everything. That's how they make their money, because their flights are so cheap. they got to get you on the other aspects of the plane ride. So Spirit Airlines, for example, you got to be careful if you're flying with Spirit to, like I said, from New York to California. They might charge you for your skateboard, but that's just their practices. They got to make their money somehow. But if you're flying with United or Delta or American, the normal airlines that aren't budget airlines really, you should be good. And I flew with those airlines personally to different states, New York, California, North Carolina, New York, things like that. And I never had any issues. But pay attention to the airline you're flying with. And if they're a budget airline, try to reach out to them before your flight and see if they'll allow skateboards on the plane with them. And for the United States too, this is another fourth factor, and I tend to call it, skateboarding hotspots around the world, just countries that you visit that tend to have a large presence of skateboarding culture and skateboarders. They tend to also, that country's airlines and airports tend to be more lax with skateboards too, because they know that a lot of skaters are coming in and out of these countries. So I guess they just, molded their policies to be a little more lenient since they're always seeing skateboards. So for instance, California is supposedly like the mecca of skateboarding. That's where skateboarding started and all that. If you're watching this and you're a skateboarder, you probably already know, like, California, like, that's the spot to be if you're a skater. So, and California is used to seeing skateboarders, and their airports and airlines are used to seeing skateboards. So, you should be fine with flying in and out of California with a skateboard without having to pay, because they're used to seeing them. And I would say, on a broader perspective, another very good example is Barcelona, Spain. So Barcelona is also like the international hub of skateboarding. Everybody goes there to skateboard, and it's just known for skateboarding. It's a skateboarding city. So I've been there personally, and it's a bunch of things to skate in Barcelona. So in Barcelona, I've also brought my skateboard there, and I've never had any issues coming in or out of Barcelona with my skateboard and having to pay to bring it with me. So Barcelona is another example of a hot spot that won't give you any issues. So I think Copenhagen, Denmark is another hot spot for skating. I always hear about contests going on there. So, but I've never been there personally, so I can't speak on how lax the policies is with bringing skateboards. But just keep that in mind. If you know more hot spots around the world for skating, they should or potentially will be a little more lax in terms of bringing your skateboard in and out without having to charge you for it. And you may be thinking too, like, oh, it's just a skateboard. Even if I have to pay to check the skateboard and bring it with me to wherever I'm flying, it shouldn't be that much. And it can really be that much. Like certain international flights, if you have to check your skateboard, it could be like $60, $100. And if you're a skater, that's the price of like a deck and wheels and bearings. So you don't want to just be throwing that money away if you don't have to, or at least being aware of it before you have to pay that money. So yeah, the fees can be really expensive if you're flying with a skateboard. So you just want to know what's going on before you fly. Now, we spoke about the United States, we spoke about Europe, spoke a little about Eastern Europe, and the only region of the world so far that I've been to, I haven't been around the world yet, but the only region of the world I've had to literally pay to bring my skateboard on the plane is South America, Latin America. So every country I have been to in Latin America, except for one, and I'll explain that at the end of this, has given me issues with my skateboard. So Dominican Republic, every time I'm flying out of the Dominican Republic, I have to pay to check my skateboard, and it's a real pain because if you're going to a country often and you always want to have your skateboard, I mean, you're always going to be paying to leave the country with your skateboard, and that could add up a lot. So yeah, Dominican Republic has given me issues. Dominican Republic also doesn't even have a skateboarding culture at all. I mean, based off of what I've seen. So I've never been to any skate parks in Dominican Republic. It's so hard to find them. There's a couple I found, online, but they look kind of trash. So I didn't want to go to them. They were like, you know, the parks were like the big ramps and bowls and stuff. Yeah, I'm not skating those. That's not what I like to skate. Maybe you do. So if that's the case, you'll definitely find at least one or two parks like that in the Dominican Republic. But yeah, they don't have a skate culture at all, I would say. If they do, it's very small. So I wouldn't be bringing my skateboard to the Dominican Republic anyway. Unless you're just trying to, unless you just want to skate flat and maybe you find some spots here and there. But yeah. So next country that I've had an issue with bringing a skateboard is Panama. So I've been to Panama a few times, 3 times, and always the same thing. You gotta pay to leave the country with your skateboard, and yeah, that's just how it is in Panama. So same scenario, just check it, and you're good. You're literally checking a piece of wood with some wheels. It blows my mind. Like, why can't I just take it on the plane? It's not doing anything. But yeah, Panama, you'll have that issue bringing a skateboard into the country. So I've been to Panama City also, and I don't know if different parts of Panama have the same rule, but I figured if Panama City, which is like the main place everyone travels to in Panama, is not allowing skateboards, then the other airports in the country probably are the same. So the third country out of the 4 that I've been to in Latin America and South America is Mexico. So Mexico, also the same thing. You cannot have a skateboard as a carry-on on the plane. You cannot bring it on the plane. You have to check it. So, and I've only been to Guadalajara, Mexico. So maybe, disclaimer, other airports, other regions in Mexico, because Mexico is huge, might have different policies. But personally, I think if one airport is not cooperating, the other ones in the region probably aren't too. And I don't want to take the chance unless I really want to bring my skateboard to this part of Mexico or wherever I'm going to. So yeah, Guadalajara, Mexico airport, I've had that issue. I had to pay to check my skateboard. Well, I didn't bring a skateboard actually with me to Guadalajara because I had that feeling like, oh, they're going to charge me for this. They're going to charge me $30 or $40. That's the price of a board. I'm not risking it. So let me just go first and then see what their policies are so I'll know for next time. And as I expected, you gotta pay to bring your skateboard. The reason why, from what I've been told, that countries in South America, Latin America don't allow you to carry on a skateboard, to take it on the plane with you, is they either TSA or whoever thinks it's like a weapon. So like you're gonna be smacking people with your skateboards on the plane, trying to hold everybody hostage with skateboards or something. I don't know, but that's what I've been told by a couple different concierge people at the check-in counters. They were like, oh, they think it's a weapon, so you can't take it. So, and you may be thinking too, you may be trying to circumvent this rule and thinking, oh, let me just take the trucks off and let me just take the board. And no, that's not gonna work. The board is what they think is a weapon. That's the bulk of the skateboard, the deck. So if you take the trucks off, you're gonna be in the same boat. But if you just want to take some trucks, if you want to put the trucks in your carry-on, you'll be good with just the trucks, with the wheels attached and the bearings to the wheels and all that. So you'll be good with that. But yeah, you just can't take the actual deck. That's the thing you're gonna be smacking people with on the plane. So yeah, you can't take that. But the one country of the 4 I've been to so far in that region of the world, Latin America, South America, Mexico is kind of classified as Central America, depending on who you're talking to. But yeah, Colombia is the one country I have not had an issue with bringing my skateboard. I've been to Colombia twice. I went to Bogota, Medellin, San Andres Island, and I've always flew back to the States from Bogota, and I was just able to carry on the skateboard. The ticket counters didn't even look at it or didn't even care that I had the skateboard, and I went through TSA and they just put it through their machine, and that was it. So Bogota TSA was extremely lax, though. That's my favorite TSA so far, and it was like really simple, and it was just quick and easy. I don't really know what to say. I just didn't have any issues. I really liked it. They also didn't make me take off my shoes or my belt. They didn't even ask me to empty out my water. I was able to drink the rest of my water after I went through TSA in Bogota. So yeah, and I went through with the skateboard. Did not have to pay to check my skateboard at all. So keep that in mind. And Bogota has a good amount of skate parks too. Colombia definitely has skate culture. So if you're going there to skate, I would say, you should be good with taking your skateboard. So I've never took my skateboard to Medellin or other parts of Colombia, but Bogota, me having a chill experience in Bogota with my skateboard, like I said about other countries, is a good indicator that other parts of Colombia, I should be good with the skateboard too. Keep in mind too, the Caribbean, since I had the issue with the skateboard in the Dominican Republic, that region of the world, the Caribbean, you also might have issues with bringing a skateboard on the plane. So for instance, maybe Puerto Rico might have the same policies as DR, maybe Jamaica, maybe Cuba. So you never know. In terms of Asia and Africa and the rest of the world that I haven't been to yet, if it's your first time going to those places, just take your skateboard and, see how much it costs to check a bag or in general, because if you got to check your skateboard, you're paying the same price you would to check a bag. So if it's like $100 to check your skateboard, then, you might not want to risk it. You might want to leave the skateboard out for this vacation trip that you're doing. But yeah, call the airlines ahead to see what their policies are for skateboards, and take it from there. So another good tip when traveling with a skateboard is, if you're going on a vacation and you're planning on taking a checked luggage bag, try to make sure that checked luggage bag is at least 30 inches in length, and try to budget out room in that bag as a contingency, just in case you have to put your skateboard in that bag. So say for instance you're leaving a country and they say you got to check the skateboard or put it in your checked luggage bag. If you already had a plan as a backup that you needed to put your board in the bag, put it in the bag, and try to make sure the luggage bag can fit a skateboard deck. That's really hard to find nowadays, but me personally, I put my skateboard deck diagonally in my 30-inch checked luggage bag, and it fits perfectly. I'm able to zip it up. I'm actually able to put like 3 skateboard decks in the luggage bag and zip it up and have things on each side of the deck in my bag, and it all works out perfectly for me. So it's a good backup to have if you are already checking a luggage bag to your country of destination anyway. Just try to make sure that if you really have to, you can put that skateboard in the bag diagonally, or if you're lucky and you got a big enough bag, horizontally, or whatever normal way fits in your bag. And that'll save you from having to spend money to check your skateboard, on top of already having to check a luggage bag that you brought with you. What sometimes helps me too, and this is like kind of hit or miss, but it helps at least when you're approaching the check-in counter and they're eyeing your bags and stuff, just to see what they could charge you for. If you bring like if you bring a book bag with skateboard straps and you put the skateboard on the book bag, it kind of helps consolidate everything you have, just so it doesn't look like you got like a bunch of different items. So I like to do that, just to look more professional at the airline counter, so they're not getting any smart ideas. So yeah, bring a skateboard bag and put the skateboard on the straps, and depending on where you are, it might help. They might not even charge you for the skateboard, or they'll still be like, hey, the skateboard is an extra item, you gotta pay for it. So, but it's something that that's hit or miss and helps. It usually helps in the United States when I'm traveling to different states, but usually those airlines are never going to charge me for the skateboard anyway, to bring the skateboard anyway, so just keep that in mind. So worst case scenario, you're in another country and you realize they're going to charge you to bring the skateboard. Let's say for instance they're going to charge you $60 to bring the skateboard on the plane, and you don't want to pay that, but you want to bring your skateboard on the plane. think about what condition your skateboard is in right now. More specifically, the deck, because the deck wears out the quickest on the skateboard. So say your deck is looking kind of shabby, it's looking like it's on the way out, it's chipping, you know, the grip tape is kind of worn down. Just keep in mind, you can still bring your trucks and the wheels on the plane without them thinking it's a weapon. I've never had any issue bringing my trucks separate from the skateboard in like a bag on the plane. Look at the deck condition, see if it's worn out, see if it's something that is worth you spending the $60 to check it. And if it's not worth that, and you could probably spend that same money to check the board on an actual new skateboard deck, then I would say to just toss the deck, leave it at the airport, you know, give it to somebody or something that you think skates. Or if you don't want no one to have it, just break it, you know, and take the trucks, and that's it, you know, cut your losses. All right, so we talked about Europe, we talked about Eastern Europe, we talked about the Caribbean, we talked about Central America, South America, North America. The regions I've been to so far with my skateboard, and how strict or how lenient they were in terms of allowing me to take my skateboard out of their country on their planes. Hopefully you found this video helpful. We talked about a couple different regions of the world that I've been to and had experiences with taking my skateboard to. Which ones, you know, I didn't have a good experience with, which ones I did. And we talked about a couple different tips that'll help you bring your skateboard, and a couple different contingencies, and that should be it. Hopefully you'll have a good time traveling with your skateboard. Hopefully they won't charge you obscene amounts of money, and yeah, that's it. So if you like this video, hit the like button, comment, subscribe, comment what regions of the world you've been to so far with your skateboard and how their TSA or their check encounters were about allowing you to bring a skateboard. Just comment how lax, how strict they were, just so other people can know, like, yeah, you know, you're gonna have issues bringing your board here. So, and yeah, that should be it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.